Next is Mr. Wallace. Well, it's good to see you again this morning. Mr. Wallace, would you once again introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number. I'm sorry, y'all, they angle is still on mute. There you go. Try it again.
All right. I'm Bobby Wallace, DOC number 314373.
All right, and your attorney is here. Would you introduce yourself for the record, please?
Good morning, Meredith Engelson from the Unjust Punishment Project at Innocence Project, New Orleans. I'd like to make a statement at the end if that suits the board.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Let me acknowledge the guests that I have here on my list. I guess I have everybody. Dr. Virginia White with the Innocence Project, India Wallace, the daughter, Patrick Drew, a friend, Eric Smith, Latoya Wallace, a cousin, Terrence Wynn, and then we have Tawanda Wallace and Petria Wallace. And then at the penitentiary, Brittany Batson, Marquake Wallace, Shamika Wallace, and Torin Wallace. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name. And for those who've indicated they'd like to speak, we'll call on them to do so at the appropriate time. First, let me just read some information into the record, and then we'll get started with the interview process. So, Mr. Wallace, you're classified as a third felony offender. You're currently serving a light sentence. As a habitual offender, you were sentenced in Caddo Parish in May of 2008 for possession of cocaine. Under Act 122, your parole eligibility date was May the 6th, 2022. Does all that sound correct?
Yes.
Your case this morning has been assigned to Mrs. Wise. Would you answer her questions, please?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Okay, the nerves.
I know, but you had a chance to visit with your family a little while, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
That's good. That worked out. That's a win day on the top. Call out for the record how long you've been in jail on this charge.
15 years, 11 months,
And how old are you today?
48.
In your 48 years, how long you said you spent in jail?
15, 6. About 24.
About 24 years of your life in jail.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. All right. When I look at your disciplinary history, you had 12 write-ups in these 15 years. And the last one was in 2022, but it got dismissed or some reprimand or something, right? Is that right? Your last write-up it was in 2022. Yes, sir.
But that got a verbal reprimand. Can I correct?
Oh. Yes.
The previous ones was back from a previous sentence from 93 to 96. I got
Okay.
released. I've been
Okay,
locked-
so you had a 95, you had a 95 one, right? A 95 write-up in a 2012.
Sorry, pardon me, Ms. Wise. I believe there's a 2012 write-up and the 22 write-up, and that's it.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, gotcha. All right. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. When I read your the offense report that we got, is kind of unusual because the offense report indicates crime of violence and a whole nother scenario, but your conviction is a whole nother charge. So tell us why are you in jail? What did you do?
I got convicted from possessing over 28 grams of cocaine. I went to a house, and inside of the house, once the police raided the house, they found drugs under the cushion of a couch.
Okay.
And they arrested all 5 people in the house and charged us with possession of the drugs.
But now, before that, there was a shooting incident in the community that led to that.
A week earlier. Yes, ma'am.
A week earlier. Okay, a week earlier. Okay. Okay. And you didn't get charged. Go ahead.
I got found not guilty on that.
Okay, okay. You found, okay, all right. Well, that's it. All right, That explains that. So were you a drug dealer during that time? Was that your lifestyle?
No, ma'am.
At that time, you were not?
No, ma'am. I was
Well,
frequently around those type of places. Honestly, that's why I was around those places, hanging around with those people that was doing those type of things.
okay, so what was your role there? You were hanging around because of
Affiliation,
because
and some was family.
okay. Were you a user? Drug user? Were you a drug user?
Last time I used marijuana was 04.
So you didn't get involved in anything else. So how were you supporting yourself during this time in your life? How what kind of job did you have?
I was working in the carpet business with my uncle. He was subcontracting out of John Ivy's warehouse.
Mm-hmm. So you worked,
Yes,
when jobs were available, you worked.
we worked every day almost.
Oh, good. Okay, good. How much education do you have?
I got my GED back in '96 from the same penitentiary. I mean, Louisiana State Penitentiary.
Mhm.
I also got 2 trades since I've been here this time.
Tell us about your trades. Put it on the record.
Welding and carpentry. I never thought I would have got them, but I love going through that there and getting that education there.
Mm-hmm. It really impressed me too when I read that. That's good. So if you're successful today, what kind of work you plan on doing?
I plan on working with my cousin Marquay, who owns his own flooring business, W2 Floors. And I love to get back into that.
And your welding trade, do you plan on using that?
Well, right off, no, I ain't got no job set up for that. But with the carpentry, I be able to use that in the flooring business a lot.
Good, okay, good, yeah. That's my only question about that. Yeah, using that welding trade. You do have a low tiger. One of the things that your release plan is to go back in Shreveport from what I read, and then you're gonna volunteer at the Community Renewal Center in Shreveport. That's a very good, impressive program that they've been around a long time. How many hours are you planning on spending over there? Have you thought about it?
Yes, after talking to the coordinator, Patrick Drew, we've been discussing. We've been discussing the hours, how much time I can spend without the school program with the kids. I like to come in as soon as I get off work, able to go shower or something and come in and go right to work with them.
So, but I'm just.
I say about 4 hours
a week.
Yes. No. I like to try to get 4 hours a day because I want to get it in with them because I know it's needed.
Okay.
I want to be able to I want them to be able to see me and know my failures so they won't have those type of problems themselves.
Right. I agree. That would be great. That's a very good program. That's all I have. Warden, what can you tell us about? I do want to stay on the record that you do have law enforcement opposition. There's nothing you can do about that, but I just want to state that for the record. Warden, what can you tell us about this young man?
Okay, I can tell you that he's a minimum B trustee assigned to groundskeeping group. And I wanted to straighten out the DB reports, but he did that himself. And everything else is truthful. Low tiger. He does have a welding and a carpentry trade. And he participated in anger management, 100 hours, and substance abuse.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Could we hear now from Dr. Virginia White?
Hi, good morning. My name is Virginia White. I'm the client service specialist at the Innocence Project New Orleans. And in this role, I provide a range of direct service support for our clients. And I'm very pleased to be addressing the board today on behalf of Mr. Wallace. Since meeting Mr. Wallace, he's always maintained a positive attitude and demeanor that really fills the room through his smile and sense of humor. And he definitely has the ability to stay focused and motivated despite certain circumstances. He's used several obstacles in his life as an opportunity to achieve personal growth and build on his strengths. There are several factors such as employment, support system, and personal motivation that promote a strong reentry plan. And I really believe that Mr. Wallace is prepared for successful reentry if he's granted parole today. Mr. Wallace has taken advantage of several programming opportunities that have aided in this growth and development. He's mature, level-headed, and able to avoid certain situations that could lead to potential trouble or causing problems. He understands the responsibility and also the importance of always being aware of his circumstances and the environment that he's placing himself in. And I think this also goes to show through his ability to want to volunteer with community support at the Community Renewal Center in Shreveport. Through the acknowledgement of his own mistakes, Mr. Wallace wants to give back to the community and to youth who may also be struggling with those same decisions in life. He has a strong family support, as you can see from his family that's present here today, and they also plan to continue to support him in his reentry. Mr. Wallace has maintained a great conduct record. He's only had 2 write-ups in the past 16 years, and he's also a trustee. He's earned 2 trades, as previously mentioned, and this will be beneficial in promoting his employment opportunities and goals if he's released. His work and residence plans are not just ideas or long-term goals. They're firm and solid plans that can be achieved within a realistic time frame. And not only does he have the support of his family, he also has ongoing direct service support from IPNO Client Services. And in this role, we will support him with whatever comes up, but his plan is so solid and his support system is so strong that I don't foresee there being any big obstacles in Mr. Wallace achieving any reentry goals. So I really, truly thank you for your time, and I really hope that you can consider all the support system that Mr. Wallace has. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. Patrick Drew, please.
Yes, good morning. My name is Patrick Drew. I am a community coordinator for Community Renewal. I live in a friendship house that's in the MLK area where my wife and we work with 45 kids Monday through Thursday, a lot of times on the weekend because we don't tell them they can't come. I am pleased to know that Bobby's coming home so we can work side by side, because we don't only just work with kids, we work with the elderly in the community. We just try to instill love and unity back into the neighborhood. And for myself, for what we once tore down to get a chance to try to build back, it's just a blessing. And I know working with these kids, I work with prison prevention, but we can't have prison prevention unless we have prison release. And I know that he'll play a very, very important part in the kids' life and teaching them and talking to them where you don't want to go. And just to hear about his welding experience, I have so many resources. God has blessed us with so many resources that I actually can help him obtain a job in welding as well. And he says we do so many cleanups in the neighborhood, and he and I both come from the same neighborhood. I've known him for at least 38 years almost, since we were young kids. And just the opportunity to come back in the neighborhood and build and grow positive and caring relationship it's just amazing. And I'm just so eager to get started with him. We have a process that we go through the office. So when he come home, I can take him and sit him down with my colleagues, and he'll go through a small little process. And it's just that I know he's ready to come home and get started, and we can use all the help that we can get.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Drew.
Thank you.
Torin, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'd ask you to introduce yourself.
How you
keep
doing?
your seat. Go
Oh, I
ahead,
gotta
go ahead.
take
You-
it out? Oh, okay. Okay. My
Go
name's
ahead and tell us
Wallace.
your name. Say it
Parole.
again. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm here today to talk about my brother's character and his phenomenal change as a human being. During his incarceration, he's done his best to stay out of trouble, and he's often thought about his mistakes and how to make amends for them. He also been improving himself. As you heard, he got a certificate in welding, carpentry, he in other programs too. And he always eager to learn. And he eager to teach too, like he taught me. He mentored me inside. I learned on the outside what I can do and what I can achieve. I got my GED. I'm in school to get my bachelor's in biology, and I'm working on getting my business started up. None of that would have been possible without his influence. But it's not just me. He influences my family, the ones you see here, the ones you see in Zoom, and the ones that's viewing live. I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir.
We all greatly benefit from his positive influence, from his words of encouragement to his words of wisdom, through his experience, and through his great sense of humor that brightens our day every day. And like me, he has a son. We have younger family members and younger people in the neighborhood that are at risk of going astray too. That are at risk of going astray. And I know that his testimony can reach them in a positive way that may affect them to the point where they change their life. I know that when he get out, he knows Terrence Wynn, the owner of Pipe, and he can further express his story and his change with others so they can work together on becoming better citizens in society. And as you heard, he also knows Pat Drew with the Community Renewal Program. And he gonna get with him too when he get out. Unfortunately, last year, we lost our dad. He wasn't able to see him, and I don't think he was able to grieve like he should, being behind these walls. And I feel like if he's released, being surrounded by people that love him, he'll grow more. And we also have a mother. We also have a mother that has early onset dementia. And I know that his freedom won't cure her, but I know that it'll lighten her heart to know that her son is home and she can talk to him and embrace him whenever she wishes to. We all make mistakes. We all have regrets, major and minor. I believe that my brother has taken responsibility for his actions and his decisions during his incarceration from seeing the person that he's evolved into. And I believe that if he's released, he'll continue to improve on being a better person. Thank you for hearing me, and I hope my words resonate with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your remark. Okay, Mr. Wallace, Mr. Bobby, is there anything you'd like to say to us before we turn it over to your attorney?
Yes, I'd like to thank the board for this opportunity for this hearing today. And to say, I know it starts with me first. I've learned through the program that you take responsibility for all your actions. Don't shift blame to anyone. And I know that staying positive, you think positive, you receive positive results. Thank you again.
All right, you. Counsel, turn it over to you.
Thank you. As you heard, Mr. Wallace is serving a life sentence for possession of cocaine that was located under a couch cushion in somebody else's home. And today, for this sentence, he could not receive life. In fact, he would have been eligible for 10 years, and his life sentence would have been illegal. And that's what Act 122 is about. It's about giving people who are serving life for nonviolent crimes, or this part of Act 122, serving life for nonviolent crimes, a chance, and to sort of as a fairness measure for those who were left behind by the sentencing reforms that happened in 2017. So there aren't requirements beyond time served for Mr. Wallace to be sitting here in front of you, but in fact, he meets and exceeds all of the requirements for more stringent parole eligibility. He has a GED, but he also has 2 trades. He has a low risk score, and he's had that low score for almost a decade. In 16 years, he has 2 write-ups. He's a Class B. He's completed 100 hours. He's in substance abuse and anger management, but he's also done a lot of voluntary programming through the Angola Lifers Association. I hope y'all had those certificates. And all of that was really focused on life skills, on personal development, on legal education. And that was a group of folks who, based on its name, they had no hope of release and were still working to improve themselves. In fact, he has earned at least 1 certificate for every year that he has served at Angola, almost every year, all the way through 2022. So this is a person who has never stopped working on himself and learning and taking responsibility and continuing to cultivate his very good mind. You've heard about the change and growth he's experienced from him, from his family, but you've also heard and saw in the letters that we submitted that he has always been a truly good, kind, generous person at his core, who even from prison has been an inspiration to his family. He admits today he was living, the mistakes that he was making, he was in bad environments. He was not around the right kind of people, and he was getting caught up in situations that most recently he has paid with 16 years of his life. But what the last 16 years have also shown is that now he really understands how to stay out of other people's messes, not create his own. He has an almost blemishless conduct record. He has lived uneventfully in prison, and he's also encouraged other people around him to do the same. And he has continued to be the peaceful and even-keeled and respectful person that he has always been. And he's shown that he can do that in an environment like prison, which can be quite chaotic and where it can be difficult to avoid getting sucked into things. He has a really great plan to move steadily into freedom if this board awards it to him. He has a place to live, he has a job. What's clear today from today's showing is that he has the strong devotion of his large family, those in person, those on Zoom, others watching on YouTube. And he is also significantly, he's asking to return to his community in a way that marks a very intentional departure from the way in which he was living before. He, as you've heard about his role with community renewal, working with young people and trying to help them go on a straight path. And this is in a place, it is in the neighborhood he grew up. These are kids who could have been him a generation ago. And he has chosen to go back and to live there in a different way. He also has the support of Terrence Wynn, who unfortunately too many people wanted to speak for Mr. Wallace. So Mr. Wynn did not make the cut, but he is an extremely accomplished person himself. He's in fact a previous juvenile lifer who has done incredible work since this board granted him freedom. And the only reason he's not sitting in this room today is because he's in Atlanta speaking with the Southern Poverty Law Center to a delegation of the UN. So he runs an organization in Shreveport that is also focused on helping inner city youth and supporting formerly incarcerated people. And he's here today to mark his support for Mr. Wallace. So Mr. Wallace is not just planning to return, and saying, I'm not going to cause a problem, but he is intentionally taking responsibility for the people around him, for the next generation, trying to build something better. And that is an instinct that is an extension of the role he has played informally for people incarcerated with him and to his family over the last 16 years. He will, of course, also receive indefinite assistance from Innocence Project New Orleans. And so in light of all these factors, we are humbly asking that he be granted parole so that he can fulfill the potential that everybody who is here in support of him sees, and which I hope we have also demonstrated to this board. Thank you.
All right, board's prepared to vote. Mrs. Wise will be voting first.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Wallace, I really appreciate the fact that you prepared for this day long before you knew it was coming. It was even possible. I applaud you for that. So my vote is to grant as well. The Lose Out Parole Project, they always say something about a sweet spot. You at a sweet spot where you can get out, you can get you a trade, you always got the trade, get your employment, get your retirement, and live a very fruitful life at this age now. Again, I want to commend you on the work that you've already done in preparing for this day. My vote is to grant excellent institutional record, excellent educational attainment, and community support and family support. The only special condition, I concur with that community renewal center. I'm going to state this, but you do what you want to do. I'm going to state 20 hours a month community service, but you do what, you serve as many as you want. And then you've enrolled in general counseling about 3 months after you get out. You got to process some grief. I'm concerned about your self-care. So enroll in general counseling about 3 months after you get out. And then, like I said, through the community service. That is my vote, sir.
All right, Mr. Roche.
Mr. Wallace, good morning.
Morning.
Great job, great job. My vote is the same for the same reason. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Wallace, you put in the work. My vote is the same with the same special condition. So go out there and to work on the outside. Good luck to you, sorry, for Rose Free. All right, that concludes our business at the penitentiary. We're going to adjourn at 10:47. Thanks for accommodating.